My name is Liyah and this is my son.
Hello, my name is Sarkis and I'm manager of the studio.
And welcome to our podcast. We don't have a name yet for our podcast. So what name do we come up for our podcast?
I'm not sure yet.
The I'm Not Sure podcast?
Yep.
So I thought about, that one's an option. I thought about liminal, which is a very powerful word for me. It's the title of my book, but also it represents a space of exploration, finding that space inside yourself where nothing is impossible. And also it speaks to transitional spaces. So from ideas to concept to creation, liminal spaces, changes and evolutions in people's lives, identity changes, core value changes, belief changes. But I think even in talking to you, Dominic, and the different phases of childhood, human development, adolescence, and just all that comes with the territory of being human and living, there's a lot of liminality in all the different phases and evolutions that we go through as human beings. And so I really like that name, but I'm also open to, what was your suggestion?
I'm not sure yet.
The I'm Not Sure Yet podcast. And I would welcome our listeners to suggest names for the podcast. And also, this is where I would love to really invite anyone in the community that really loves storytelling or has something interesting they want to unpack in a podcast format and share. I want to welcome and extend an invitation to the extraordinary people in our community that we don't ordinarily hear from, because I really believe that there's gems and nuggets in everyone's lived experiences that I'm excited to hear about. But most of all,
Gems and nuggets.
Gems and nuggets. But most of all, Dominic, I look forward to unraveling and having some really interesting conversations with you. You have been one of my most powerful teachers in life as my firstborn. But also you have a really patient way of exploring topics and conversations. And I really love learning from you. So,
Perfect.
Any thoughts and shares?
No, really. I just think this is a great idea, and I could definitely see the manifestation that we can have for this podcast.
I'm really excited about, most specifically, giving the youth in our community and you as a young person a platform to speak and also add to conversations, because most podcasts I've listened to and watched, and most of the time that I see guests on podcasts, a lot of times it's adults or experts in their fields. But I think our youth are the experts in their field, which is adolescence. And what are some of the topics that you'd like to talk about?
I think a great topic to bring up would be child development outside of the parent's supervision. That'd definitely be a great topic that we can really break up into different other subcategories.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's a major one. I'm gonna think of a couple more over the couple of days.
Yeah. We've talked about things like financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about puberty. Mm-hmm. We've talked about boundaries, relationships.
Well, and that all falls in with the
in the scope of how
out of the parent supervision. Yeah.
Any topics you don't want to talk about? Any off limits? Grades?
That's a good one.
Any topics you think that should stay off the table?
Whatever goes on within the child's friend groups, probably.
Okay. So
the privacy within all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cool. Thanks for being the first co-host and guest of the No Name podcast yet.